He still wants to win Lombardis. And Jeff Saturday, as I sit and I look at a Steeler team that had, and let's be kind, subpar quarterback play last season and still managed to go 8-8. If there had been 7 playoff teams last year, they would have been in the playoffs. And you add a Hall of Fame quarterback if he's healthy. What would you say the ceiling is for the Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger?
Super Bowl contention. I mean, this is an 8-8 football team who has a defense that ranked number 1 in yards per play, takeaways, total QBR allowed, and sack. If you're not telling me a team like that has a chance in the playoffs and a chance to make some noise, you're absolutely crazy. And think about this. If Roethlisberger gets back to, let's say, 75% of what he was in 2018, which is arguably his best season ever, you're talking about he was a 5,000-yard passer back then. If you get even close to that, the numbers blow you away. And by the way, when they played the Ravens, the 14-2 team, Lamar, all the things, they took it away from him 3 times. So this team is equipped and loaded. Now, they have to run the ball better. They didn't do as well when Munchak left. They haven't done as well offensive line-wise last year, but they'll get back to that because you have the quarterback that can threaten on the outside instead of playing with guys like you and me, Greeny, at the quarterback position. So as you're looking at this, I'm fired up for the Steelers. This team has a real shot if Roethlisberger even gets back.
I think you're selling me short. You haven't seen me spin it Saturday. Louis Riddick, let me come to you. No one talks about the Steelers. No one. We're talking about Baltimore. We're talking about Kansas City. We're talking about what can New England be with Cam. No one is talking about the Steelers. Should we be?
Of course we should be, because this is a football team that has one of the best coaches in the National Football League, in Mike Tomlin, who is another guy who doesn't get enough credit. And we are talking about Big Ben, who is a proven bona fide winner. He's one of those guys who was considered the standard at one point in time in terms of how would you draw up the ideal quarterback. Remember, there were many people who said there's one quarterback you don't want to face in crunch time, and a guy who, when you need him the most, is Ben Roethlisberger. Here's the question, though, is, we keep saying, if healthy, if healthy, if healthy. And it's just not about Big Ben and if he is healthy. And he's coming back from a major, major injury to his throwing arm. But also, James Conner has to stay healthy. Juju Smith-Schuster has to stay healthy. These are people who they lost last year. They need guys like Chase Claypool, the wide receiver from Notre Dame, to come through. Deontay Johnson, they need him to come through. James Washington, you need to come through. Anthony McFarland Jr., who they drafted out of Maryland at running back to complement James Conner. These guys all have to come through. They've got it, I believe, locked down on the defensive side, but they need to come through offensively from a health and development perspective. And remember this, Baltimore is loaded. Kansas City is loaded. Tennessee was in the AFC Championship game last year, so they have got a minefield to navigate. I think they are without a doubt a wild card team if Big Ben stays on the field. Super Bowl lock, Super Bowl contenders, I'm not sure, but they got some questions to answer. But the AFC is tougher than people give the AFC credit for. But Big Ben, look, he's for real. I just hope he can last throughout the entire season.
Yeah, Darlington, let me pick up on something Louis just said about Mike Tomlin and the job he did last year. The Steelers last year ranked 31st in QBR, right? Second to last as far as their quarterback play. They went 8-8.
Right.
Washington finished one spot ahead of them at 30th. They went 3-13. So, I mean, you're talking about the Steelers managed to really do something with absolutely nothing. Now you throw a Hall of Fame quarterback into the mix. What do you make of it, Jeff Darlington?
Yep. Greeny, I would have felt more confident about the Steelers' chances if they had added, say, Jameis Winston or Cam Newton as their backup quarterback, because I understand that we're going to have optimism about Roethlisberger saying the things he's saying, but he's also saying there hasn't really been, he in his comments, that a major quarterback that's gone through these torn flexor tendons. There's been 2, one of which was the other guy in the Steelers organization, in Terry Bradshaw. I realize it was a long time ago, and maybe medicine's come a long way, but elbow issues also played the end of his career. Joe Montana in 1991 had torn flexors in his elbow, reoccurring for 2 seasons after that. I can only hope that medicine has caught up to where these surgeries go better, but there is a history of quarterbacks dealing with these elbow injuries late in their careers. So if they had a backup quarterback that was maybe better suited, I'd be more confident. I'm just not that confident yet that Big Ben can make it through the season with this injury and stay completely healthy.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.